Earlier this week, I made a tweet where I kinda mocked the people who said Heart Gold and Soul Silver was the best game ever because you have a Pokemon following you, and that the only thing that could increase the quality of Pokemon games nowadays is having a Pokemon following you. I've seen a very large amount of people saying these things, especially on the Norwegian forums. I don't know about the American ones. And I found it really silly to say. I don't think Pokemon Black and White would be one of the best games ever if they just had a magical little thing following you, nor would Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's a cute gimmick, and that's all it is. I don't think it makes a game better. Which made me wonder, what exactly makes a game better? What exactly is a good Pokemon game? No, I just want to address something very peculiar. If you asked me 2 years ago, I would say that the nostalgia freaks in Pokemon were annoying, that they didn't really know what a good game was, and I think that I've kind of learned that that's not the case. I started playing Pokemon in Pokemon Black and White, and at the time when Pokemon Black and White was the newest game, well, of course, I didn't have any nostalgic ties to anything until Pokemon Black and White wasn't the newest game anymore. As years have passed by, I've kind of realized that I do have special ties to Pokemon Black and White that no other game can recreate, which is why I think it's important to note that yes, nostalgia is a thing, and you can never replicate that experience, not through a remake, not through anything. That experience will never get recreated, which is important to understand, because if you're gonna get stuck in the past with remakes and cute gimmicks that was cool 10 years ago, you're never gonna improve a game, which I think is really important to understand, because I don't think any Pokemon game would be better if we had that mentality. But going back to Pokemon Black and White, I think I can explain why I really enjoyed it the first time I played it. And be sure, I was quite old when I first started playing Pokemon seriously. Pokemon Black and White came out in 2010. I was 17 years old then. As I was probably a lot older than most people started playing Pokemon, I think I saw a couple of things in the game that other people didn't notice. First of all, the really dark story in it. In the game, there's a guy called N who's a member of Team Plasma, the son of Getsis, who wants to liberate Pokemon from the trainers because he thinks Pokemon should be free and in the wild, and you know, all those hippie thoughts. What a crazy maniac. And throughout the story, he kind of confronts you on this all the time, which makes it seem that Team Plasma isn't inherently bad. It makes you kind of question your own actions. I think no other villains have done anything similar till this date, which made Team Plasma so enjoyable to follow. Team Flare, for example, took the complete opposite approach by creating a lunatic of a man trying to destroy the world and kill everything within it. And in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you had Lusamine, who wanted to become a jellyfish for some reason. I think people underestimate the importance of a good story and interesting characters in a Pokemon game. Villains that actually have a reason to do what they do, instead of Team Rocket who are just the bad guys just to have someone to defeat. Feels a bit silly, and Team Plasma and Magma's cause was kinda ridiculous. They didn't really have any good reason to dry up every land, and they didn't have any good reason to flood the entire Earth. They just did it and regret it afterwards. But at least with Team Plasma and Team Flare, they had like a solid reason, and even if the reason wasn't really fair or reasonable, the personalities behind these groups was so great that they kind of felt alive. Lysander was a psychopath just wanting to ruining the world, and while N on the other hand was a manipulative, kind of misunderstood, weird freak. I think we can call him that. When I saw they were gonna release Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I was kinda happy that they didn't release a new remake. Mainly because I don't think remakes are that enjoyable. Yes, I just said it. Remakes are not as enjoyable as a new game. But no matter how much I like Team Flare and Team Plasma, I don't think a remake of those games would be the best thing ever. It's like watching a movie. The movie is always best the first time you watch it, at least if it's a good movie. And watching through it again, yes, you may notice some things you didn't watch the first time, but the first time was always the most pleasant experience. You know, the kind of movie or series that just makes you feel empty afterwards, making you think, what's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of anything? It's finished now, kind of feeling. I don't think you can accomplish that by recreating a game that you really like. If you played through Black and White and you really like the story, the game is already out there. If you want to relive the story, you might as well just buy Pokemon Black and White. I don't see any reason for it to be remade. The same goes with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which is what people apparently want nowadays. If you really like Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, the game is already out there. If you have Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, why not just play through it again if you want to relive the same stories and the same characters? A second thing I think is important in a Pokemon game is the gameplay. Now, I know a lot of the people say that nowadays Pokemon games are too simple and easy. However, I do disagree with that quite a lot. I think the first generation of Pokemon are super easy once you know all the flaws and stuff in the game, and once you have a little knowledge about Pokemon. The first gym against Brock is super easy if you choose Charmander. All you have to do is growl a ton of times before taking him down, as he never switched, and his attacks are gonna do basically no damage, and he's not gonna crit you because his Pokemon are slow as fuck. I didn't have much problem with the newer games, however the newer games at least gives me some new challenges. Pokemon Sun and Moon are a prime example of this, as they remove gyms with trials, which I was such a big fan of. You have absolutely no idea. Trials felt new and fresh, and it really felt like a boss battle, whereas a gym battle was like that one trainer that was a little bit more difficult than the others. We were lucky enough to know what type he was specialized in, so you might as well just catch a Diglett outside his gym. The trials felt fresh, and going at them blind, they were somewhat hard. I remember myself throwing off a C move into the Mimikyu trial. Even knowing about his disguise, I just popped his disguise. And I think if Pokemon are gonna create some more memorable battles and increase the difficulty without making it impossible for certain people, I think that a new game is the way to go. And I think that reorganizing and or possibly just replacing old structures such as gyms are the best way to recreate new great battles. A lot of the people who criticize Pokemon for being too easy also play with battle style Switch and with EXP share on. If you think Pokemon are too easy, you can turn them off, making it a lot harder experience for you, especially the Pokemon style Switch. This is the thing that lets you switch a Pokemon every time you knock out an opponent, always giving you the upper hand in a battle. If you don't have that upper hand all the time, you are gonna notice that a lot of battles are much harder. The third thing I think makes a Pokemon game good is of course the environment it is played in. Exploring interesting locations with a lot of lore and exciting Pokemon in them are much more exciting than exploring the same caves with 10,000 Zubats in it every goddamn step. Again, I gotta give credit to Pokemon Sun and Moon because they had a lot of them. Pokemon Sun and Moon felt like a really big game. You had volcanoes, you had beaches, you had routes, you had cities that were all different, you had Poo Town, and all the other crazy places that were there. I really enjoyed Pokemon Sun and Moon's landscape, and I don't think Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are gonna make them worse in any case. Yes, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon might be a failure, but it might be the game with the most heartwarming scene in a Pokemon game ever, and it might be the game with that one battle that was so hard that you'll be talking about it for years to come. Pokemon Sun and Moon was a pleasant and fun game, and I don't think Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is gonna be any worse, which is why I'm looking forward to it. What do you think makes a Pokemon game good?